Hello, I'm Valerie McLennan. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. This is my spiritual channel, Valerie Mac, Scottish, spiritual and very funny. I share stories, I share wisdom regarding why on earth we're here, what we're supposed to be doing, and what's it all about. Yes, I do. I sometimes burst into song. You don't know what you're getting. You have to tune in. One day wisdom, one day laughter, someday both. Now, did you listen to my previous podcast? Did you? My new album? Did you listen to that one? If not, could you kindly revert back to the one prior to this one? And you will hear all about my new up-and-coming album. I know, tongue-in-cheek. Now, I'm actually calling this podcast this evening The Storms of Life. It will become apparent very shortly. In previous days, especially in my recent podcast regarding my album, I mentioned that I'm not really a summer person. I know, many of you gasp in horror thinking, what do you mean the summer's wonderful? I don't mind the day or two if it's 19, 20 degrees, as I keep saying. It is the humidity that I am not fond of. The muggy and humid weather has just gone on too long. I've not slept since February this year. I know. I can't remember when this started. Was it March? I don't know. It just seems so long ago. Anyway, on my previous podcast, I said, you are free to go. Sunshine, I don't want to sound ungrateful, sunshine, but please go. Go away for a few months, a few weeks. Just let me sleep. Let me breathe. That's all I ask. That's all I said. And I said that in my previous podcast. What's happening tomorrow? Fearful, danger to life. A storm is en route. Now, I thought that is very extreme. Very extreme. All I asked was, could you get a little bit cooler? A little bit whatever, just so that I can function. Oh no. So I'm going to be catapulted, like the rest of you. I am not alone, I hope. Like the rest of you, I'm going from was it March? I think it was March. The heat wave and the humidity. March, April, May, June, July. We're now early August. And today again. I know, I thought it was going to be cooler today. It turned out very, very, very humid and warm. Tomorrow. So today, very, very warm. Since March, or whatever date it was. Tomorrow, storm is en route. You will waken up tomorrow, hopefully, in the same town, city, country, wherever you went to sleep. I know. I hope the roof is still in my home. Everything else is still attached. So we're going from whatever we've had, the intense heat wave, straight in. No little bit of cooling down, straight in to storm. I think it's going to be worse up north, but not in the north of Scotland. But I think it's going to be pretty severe even in the central belt of where I am. I know. So anyway, I hope you all stay safe. I know, there is a point to this, I'm getting there. But at least it'll be a little bit cool. You know me, I look for the positive in everything. At least if there's a storm, it'll be a little bit cooler. With the rain and the storm, I'm assuming it'll be a little bit cooler. I know. But on a serious point, I hope everyone stays safe because it sounds pretty severe. But I'm just talking about, you go from one extreme to another. What's that funny little expression? I think, again, it's a Scottish thing. You know how they always say, it's either one thing or the other. You know how people would always say, there's always something to worry you. And they always say, some people say, it's always one thing or another. And then I think it was a few years ago, I read somebody saying, it's either one thing or your mother. Now, I thought that was funny. I did. It's neither one thing or your mother. Oh, got wrong now, it's so warm. It's either one thing or the other. But they changed it to it's either one thing or your mother. Anyway, made me laugh. Doesn't take much, does it? Well, just as blooming well. Anyway, so on the back of that, I have, I'm knitting this into the theme of my wisdom, the storms of life. This is what I'm always saying. If we always had good times, calm waters, literally, calm waters, dry, peace, nothing, everything perfect, we wouldn't be challenged. Where the challenges come along, as we're going from the dry, sunny, I'm challenged enough for that. I've not slept since February, I know, into a storm. Now, this is where nature is at its worst, and you're kind of people do tend to feel a bit vulnerable because there's not a thing you can do. You're at the mercy of nature and the whole everything in creation. Now, this is why I'm always saying you should be very aware of the creation, where you are and what. It's not all about you. It is not all about you. And I always stress on the spiritual channel, you should really be tuned in to the spiritual aspects, nature, planet Earth, and the reason we're here. Now, people tend to, when there's a storm or when there's any kind of external fearful situation happening, focuses the mind. People who are maybe quite, nonchalant normally suddenly think, oh, because this is when we realise the badge, as I keep saying, the badge on your jacket, the title of your career means nothing when the storms of life come along, whether it's a physical storm like tomorrow or if it's an emotional storm. Your badge, your title means nothing. No, it's what you have in your tank, your emotional tank within. When people let you down, when you're facing situations, when there's loss, when there is anything that you're facing, anything that could cause you emotional hurt, if you use your spiritual aspects of your life and you dig deep and you don't allow, it's the expression I've used many, many times. People can offer offence. They can try and offend you. You don't have to accept. People can try and hurt you. You don't have to accept. What other people do, you in the spiritual path, you don't allow it and you don't accept it as your reality. If you ignore situations and you ignore hurts and you keep burying it deep and burying it deep and burying it deep and you just don't mention it and gloss, oh, I wouldn't like to ruffle any feathers, I'll just keep going, no. What's happening there is you're storing that in your own emotional tank, and that will erupt in one way or another. That will come through. On the spiritual path, you deal with situations as they come along. And I have mentioned this until I'm blue in my face. I'm actually quite red in the face. It's quite warm. Did I mention that? Yes. Anyway, I'll carry on regardless of the humidity. Seriously, the storms of life, as in the weather forecast, and the storms of your emotional life, both the same thing. All you're getting tomorrow or the next day, whenever it comes along, is a physical reminder of the storms that you will face in your life. It's one thing. Tomorrow and the weather is no different to the storms within yourself. It's how you react to the storms that are coming along, and it's the same with your situations in your life. On this path, you're supposed to deal with situations as they come along. I mentioned that the other day when I was on. Don't keep looking back. Don't keep looking too far forward. Deal with situations as they come along. Difficult as they may be, challenging as they may be. Face them. Close doors if you have to, but don't, if you hold on to hurts and you just keep swallowing an emotional hurt and another, I'll not say anything because I'm not doing it because it's got to show somewhere. It'll either affect your own health. So in addition, you're taking that from other people and then you're only going to affect your own health. Charming. Don't think so. I stress this all of the time. It's not an easy world to be in on the spiritual path. You have to have a stubbornness and you have got to have a core that says that you say to yourself, my health, my mindset, my spirituality is more important than other human beings. You have to. Well, what's the alternative? You let other people, the storms of life come along. You've nothing left in your tank because you've emotionally given it all away. You just give it away. Yes, whatever. If I hear that again, you hear people saying, oh, well, it'll be what it'll be. It will not be what it'll be in my world. No, it will not. And if you're in the spiritual path, it shouldn't be, it'll be what it'll be. You're creating it with your own. You create those situations, they come along, but you magnify them with what you're willing to accept. If you face situations in your life and you say, well, whatever, que sera, it'll be what it'll be, hey ho. Well, I don't know why anyone would use that response. I hear it continually. What you're doing there is you're sabotaging your own health and your own future in that throwaway line. So if you think whatever it'll be, que sera, it'll be what it'll be, it won't be what it'll be. You have got to take your own life into your own hands and move it forward. If you're the passenger and you're just saying whatever, you're not steering your own life. You're just allowing life, situations, storms of life just to come along and carry you like on a wave on the ocean. It's just carrying you. You're just bobbing along in the ocean thinking, well, whatever, wait till I see where this wait till I see where this little ripple takes me. So you're sitting on the sea, you're just bobbing all over the place. You're thinking, well, I don't know. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be. I knew she would do that, so did I. Whatever will be, will be. Well, it won't be. You're supposed to, at that point, take your life in your own hands and think, no, I will not bob along in the sea. I will not emotionally, not physically, I will not emotionally bob along in the sea. I will not say whatever will be, will be. I will tell myself where I am taking my life, and I will direct my life where it's going. I will not accept poor behaviour. This is not a pride thing, and this is not an ego thing. You shouldn't be thinking of ego on the spiritual path, but what you should be thinking is you should have enough belief. You should have a deep enough belief in yourself and your worth, your self-worth. Now, that's not an ego thing. Your self-worth means that you have worked long and hard to keep yourself on this path, and you're not going to allow other people's poor behaviour to either drag you down, treat you poorly, whatever. They're two different worlds apart. Every time you accept poor behaviour and you ignore it and you carry on, you're storing that in your memory bank, you're storing it in your physical body. It will either show it was showing ill health, it was showing headaches, migraines, it will show something. It has got to, it's an energy. So if you're emotionally carrying other people's issues and holding it, and you just don't want to say anything, ruffle feathers, as I keep saying, you will notice in time that this will start to affect your health. You'll either be exhausted, you'll have migraines, you'll have this, you'll have that, you'll be achy, you won't know exactly what it is, you'll just feel run down, your motivation would have left the building. Those are all of the things that you accept as your reality every time that you say, que sera, sera, whatever. Because what that sentence is really meaning is whatever. You give in. You're giving in, and life will just take me wherever it wants to take me. Well, it won't take me where it wants to take me. I will not. And on the spiritual path, this is what it means. You are supposed to be very, call me old-fashioned, you're supposed to be very active in your own life. Now, I'm talking on an emotional level, on the storms of life. If you don't deal each day and nip everything like that, and keep yourself on track, what happens when the emotion, not the storm tomorrow, but when the emotional storms come along, like it will to each and every one of us, loss, whenever, worries for this, worries for that, you will not, I can assure you, you won't have enough in your tank, because you've not, it's like a petrol. If you're putting petrol in your car, you've got to keep topping it up. If you let it go to zero, and I hear people saying this all the time, I feel I'm running on empty. Well, you will be running on empty if you're just allowing everyone to just take emotionally, and you're scared to kind of stand up for yourself. This is what the spiritual path is about. This is why I keep saying you've got to have a stubbornness. If people get offended and people take, as I say here in Scotland, take the huff, let them take the huff, because my mind, my sanity, my health and my spirituality is coming before any of it. It has all my life. There are times I have said over the years that I've been dragged kicking and screaming into that world, where I have just, it's just, you feel as if you're emotionally drowning. And those are the times that I've slipped off the path of determination just because of the situation I was in. I won't allow that in my life, no. And if people are not happy with that, well, they'll have to move on without me. I know. Imagine missing all my patter. Imagine missing all my patter and my wisdom. Well, if you don't want my patter and my wisdom, I'll move on, because I know why I'm on earth. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. It's not ego-driven. It's sanity-driven. It's spiritual-driven. It's personal growth. It is personal development. And if you don't think enough about me to understand that, I'm afraid our paths shall drift. You get my drift? Now, the storms that are en route tomorrow, the physical storms, I know, don't like it. I only said, could it get a little bit cooler? I know. I sometimes think there's some sarcasm somewhere. I know. Just said the other day, a little bit cooler, even for a few weeks, just so that I can sleep. That's all I asked. What's happening now? I know you're thinking, for goodness sake, we're going to be blown to bits. I don't know why I'm laughing. Neither do I. Anyway, I'm hoping. Some people have said it's not going to be that bad here. I don't know why they're saying that, because we've got an amber warning. Is there something I'm missing? We have moved from yellow to amber warning for the area I'm in. And people are saying, oh, it'll not be as bad as the last time. Was that not amber? I think I remember fences and roofs of houses getting blown away. How windy would you like it to be? I know. It won't be as bad as it will. Well, I hope that you are correct. and it won't be. Why the giving is an amber warning. I know. Now, tie it in. The emotion, the storms of life, that's nature and that's the world. You know, this shows you we're totally vulnerable at this situation, totally vulnerable. There's not a thing we can do. We've got to let this come through, and not one of us. Your badge means nothing. How much money you've got in the bank means nothing. Your title means nothing. Wherever means nothing. We are here. We're at the mercy of the storms of life, and we just hope they pass. Now, it's the exact same on a emotional level. Please think about it. Hope you all stay safe. I'll be back on, I was going to say tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll have Wi-Fi. Once the storms have passed, look after each other, as I said, stay safe, and we will get through this together. Take care. Bye for now.